You know, when you hear the word Freemasons, what comes to mind? For a lot of people, it's all about secret meetings, mysterious symbols, that kind of thing. But what do they really do? What do they actually say about themselves? Well, today, we're going to find out by going inside their world through their own eyes.
Right? The big question has always been about the secrecy. Are they some kind of clandestine group pulling strings behind the scenes? Or is the reality, well, maybe something totally different, and honestly, a lot more interesting?
So to get some real answers, we're not diving into conspiracy theories. Nope. We're going straight to the source. We're going to flip through the pages of their own publication, the New Jersey Freemason. This is their story and their words. So let's see what we can find out.
All right, first things first, let's tackle the elephant in the room. This idea of a secret cabal versus, say, pillars of the community. Which one is it? We've all heard the stories, right? The popular image is all secret handshakes and locked doors, a shadowy group that's only looking out for its own. It's a powerful myth. But then you open up this magazine, and the story they tell about themselves, it's a completely different picture, and it's one that's not hidden at all, but actually proudly on display. I mean, just look at this. This isn't some secret memo. It's a plaque from St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, thanking the New Jersey Freemasons for their support. That's about as public as it gets, and it's all about charity. And it's not just about writing checks either. They are physically out there. You see them here marching in a 4th of July parade. They're sponsoring youth groups. So far from hiding, they seem to be a pretty visible, active part of public life. And honestly, the magazine is just packed with this stuff. They're awarding tens of thousands of dollars in scholarships. They've got a program that honors veterans in hospice care. They even have a team, get this, called Hiram on Ice that does a polar bear plunge for the Special Olympics. The big takeaway seems to be that their focus is really on the world outside their lodge doors. Okay, so they're all about community and being good citizens. But that's where we hit this really fascinating paradox in their history. It turns out these pillars of the community, well, they were also rebels and revolutionaries.
And this is where it gets really interesting. On one hand, you've got a line from their official oath, a promise not to get involved in plots against the government. And on the other hand, well, that's a list of America's most famous plotters and revolutionaries: George Washington, Ben Franklin, Paul Revere. So what gives?
You know what's wild? They don't shy away from this contradiction at all. They seem pretty proud of it. The magazine actually boasts that Masons like Benjamin Franklin and Robert Livingston were on the committee that drafted the Declaration of Independence itself. And check out this number. Of the 74 generals George Washington commissioned to lead the Continental Army, a whopping 33 of them were Masons. That is almost half of the entire revolutionary leadership. So, how do they square that circle? How do they reconcile the oath with the revolution? An article in the magazine tackles it head on. They basically say that while things like war crimes would be an offense, the simple act of rebellion against tyranny is not. It's a really interesting way of looking at loyalty and freedom.
So that gives you a sense of their past. It's complex, it's revolutionary. But how does an organization that was born centuries ago survive in the modern world? Well, that brings us to their current reality. Ancient rituals, modern challenges.
Like any centuries-old group, they're facing some very modern problems. And I gotta say, they are surprisingly transparent about it. Just look at this chart. In 2013, their charity foundation lost $3.2 million. But look at the progress. By 2016, through some major restructuring, they budgeted that loss to shrink all the way down to $277,000. It's a snapshot of a group working really hard to stay afloat. And it's not just about balancing the books. They're clearly trying to evolve everywhere. They're renovating their retirement communities. They're holding leadership conferences on, wait for it, social media and team building. They're creating new mentoring programs, and they're actively trying to figure out how to improve the whole lodge experience for a new generation. This is definitely not an organization that's standing still.
Okay, so this brings us full circle, right back to where we started. If the big secret isn't some plot for world domination, and it's not about hiding, then what is it? What is the real Masonic secret?
And what you find, reading through their own words, is that the secret, well, it's not what you think. It's not a password or a special handshake, you're told. It seems to be something you experience.
I mean, this one quote from an article just says it all, doesn't it? It paints this picture of a room where a 92-year-old vet, a 21-year-old college kid, a doctor, a boilermaker, people from totally different walks of life can all come together as equals. That seems to be the real secret, the community they build.
and it's all framed as this journey of personal growth. There's an old Masonic poem in the magazine that talks about how Masons are called to come and polish the stone. The whole idea is that you're there to work on yourself, to chip away at your own imperfections and become a better person with the help of everyone else in the room.
And that same poem, it ends with this absolute mic drop of a line. After all the mystery, all the speculation, the ultimate reveal is that the real secret they're all guarding is a very personal one. Just learning who you are.
So, when you look at them through their own lens, the whole shadowy cabal thing just kind of melts away. And in its place, you see this picture of community service, revolutionary history, and personal growth. It really leaves you with a final thought, doesn't it? If their goal isn't to hide from the world, but to improve the people who go out into the world, what else might we be getting wrong?